Satipatthana Sutta, the four foundations of mindfulness. So, I think we can start the session today, but I think just to finish this particular discourse, we will, I think we may have to use another few sessions. The Satipatthana Sutta, or the establishing of mindfulness, is a widely studied discourse, the Pali canon of Theravada Buddhism. The Sutta is the foundation for practicing Vipassana meditation. So this is basically used for laying out foundation for practicing Vipassana meditation. The Pali text of the Satipatthana Sutta of Majjhima Nikaya and the Mahasatipatthana Sutta of Digha Nikaya are generally the same, except the detailed account of a section about the Four Noble Truths in Mahasatipatthana Sutra. The discourse provides very comprehensive spiritual process regarding practice of mindfulness and high concentration, which paves the way towards the purification of beings by overcoming sorrow and lamentation and extinguishing suffering and grief. It also guides the individual on the path of truth for the realization of Nibbana, the ultimate goal. So this is how the sutta starts. Evam me sutang. Thus I have heard Ekan Samayang at one time, Bhagava, the enlightened one, the Buddha, Kurusu Viharati, was staying in Kuru province. Kammasadammam Nama Kurunam Nigamu. Kammasadamma, it was a market town of Kuru people. Tatrako Bhagava Bhikkhu Amantesi, there the Buddha, the enlightened one, addressed the monks and the other laymen and made this discourse. Bhikkhavoti badanteti te bhikkhu bhagavato pachchassusum bhagava etadavoti. Uddeso. Introduction. Actually, when it comes to other discourses in the Pali Canon, we cannot see this kind of introduction. At the very beginning, the value, the importance of the discourse, emphasized, highlighted in the introduction of the discourse itself. Ekaya, the only path. I am Bhikkave Maggo. Ekayano Maggo. This is the only path. This path is the only path, a direct path. Sattanang Visuddhya. For purification of beings. Sattanang usually translated into English like beings. All living beings are meant in that particular term, Sattana. So that is, anyway, that particular Pali term is defined like clinging nature to the world. All beings have sort of clinging nature to the world. So Satta is, that particular term is used to name all beings as they have clinging nature to the world. And Visuddhya, cleanse and perfectly purify. Visuddhya, Suddhya. So we can translate Suddhya like cleanse, purify. But when it comes to Visuddhya, of course, perfectly purified, remaining nothing. Soka Paridhavana, sorrow and lamentation. Soka, that means mental kind of grievances. And lamentation, those grievances are expressed in the term using lamentation. And Samathikamaya, avoid without putting into action, verbally or physically. Samathikamaya. Surpass, surmount, or overcome. That is done by observing or practicing Sila Patipada. You can see that sometimes I use similar terms. That is for your information, because when it comes to different translations of the Sutta, we can see similar terms are used. So I try to use many of those terms which are used when translating this particular discourse. And Dukkha Domanasana, the Dukkha Domanasana, suffering and grief. There, Dukkha means the physical kind of suffering. And again, grief, mental kind of suffering. And Attangamaya, regulate life pattern so that clinging gradually diminishes, just like the setting sun. You know that when it comes to, when we talk about the sun, we can see in the morning the rising sun. And just to set the sun, it takes a little time. So at once, the sun doesn't set. The sun rises in the east, just to turn to the west. It takes 12 hours. Little by little, it goes to west. So likewise, a person, an individual cannot annihilate all evils or defilements at once. It takes a little time, very comprehensive exercise needed for the annihilation of defilements. That's why that particular term is used, Attangamaya. Because the sunset, when the sun setting, it takes a little time. Nyayasa Adhigama, the accomplishment of the right method without stumbling in the dark. Nyayasa Adhigama. Comprehension of the Eightfold Path. Nyayasa Adhigama. By practicing what is suggested as an exercise in this particular discourse, one can turn to the Eightfold Path. Thereby one can accomplish the right method without stumbling in the dark. And when one understands correctly then that this is the path, he doesn't have to argue. Atakkavaja. Nothing to argue there. He has only to practice. And there are, this is not mentioned in Satipatthana, what you find in red color. Attamanyaya, Dhammamanyaya, Dhammanudhamma Patipanno Hoti. So we have to understand the Dhamma. Dhamma is the nature of all and every phenomena. And Attamanyaya, Dhamma has to be understood in one's life itself. Then it becomes Attamanyaya. Thereafter, one can start the practice Dhammanu Dhamma Patipanno. And Nibbanasu Satchikiriyaya, realizing emancipation. Yadidan Chattaru Satipatthana, here the Buddha preaches the 4 frames of establishing mindfulness. This sutta is very significant compared to many discourses because here the Buddha highly emphasizes that this is the direct and only way, the only exercise for the purification of mind by way of surmounting or overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, and thereby attain emancipation or the utmost freedom, liberation, Nibbana. And this is the only way and direct method to annihilate suffering and discontent. Nature of all beings is to cling to the world of existence. Beings cling to the world in 5 ways, using 5 aggregates. The individual clings to agreeable or pleasing visual forms, audibles, odors, taste or flavors, contacts, and mental phenomena, using sense faculties of 5 aggregates. So that is how an individual cling onto the world of existence. So here in this particular discourse, clinging can be purified. The individual is expected to perfectly purify from those attachment and clinging, so that the individual doesn't cling to the world again. Leaving evils of clinging no room, just to re-emerge, Visuddhya. When cleansing or purification is done in accordance with the instructions given in this particular discourse, they may not re-emerge or resurface in mind. Clinging causes suffering and grief, then sorrow. Then sorrow and lamentation spread throughout the life. Here in this exercise, the individual is guided to overcome the causes of suffering. Katame Chattaro. What are those 4 frames? Ida Bhikkave Bhikkhu Kaya Kayanupassī Vihara. Ātāpi Sampajāno Satimā Vinaya Loke. Here, having Bhikkave Bhikkhu Kaya Kayanupassī Vihara, the practitioner or the spiritual performer or the bhikkhu stays observing bodily activities using the same phenomena. Then Ātāpi. Ātāpi is a very meaningful term. Atapi, having determination to suppress evils. Atapi means having determination to suppress evils. So one has to enter into a meditation or observing bodily activities, having a full determination to suppress surfacing evils. In commentaries, Atapi, the term is further elaborated, and so suppressing can be done in 5 ways. Pahana Vinaya. We can see the 5 levels of or 5 ways of Pahana Vinaya. There are 5 ways of suppressing or overcoming evils. One can suppress temporarily. That is called Tadanga Pahana. Tadanga Pahana, control for the time being. Not permanent. That means greediness or lust can be controlled by loathsome or disgusting aspects. Once greediness surfaces in the mind, it can be overcome considering loathsome aspects of that particular object. Considering a disgusting aspect of that particular object. Likewise, hatred can be suppressed by loving kindness. So likewise, whenever those negative emotions surface in one's mind, those negative emotions or evil aspects can be temporarily suppressed. That is identified to be Tadanga Pahana. When a particular practitioner gets involved in controlling evils temporarily, according to Tadanga Pahana, then he can develop that stage into Iskambana Pahana, suppressed for a long period of time in the existence. In the circle of death and birth, for a long period, it can be suppressed, Viskambana Pahana. Then Samuchcheda Pahana, permanently removed, having no left over on the path of noble disciples. If somebody achieves the level of the stage of stream winner, certain evils or fetters can be permanently annihilated. When somebody comes to the stage of one's return, Vanagam, thereby another set of fetters of evils can be permanently removed. That is identified Samuchcheda Pahana. And Patisaddhi Pahana, when somebody comes to the fruition of path of noble disciples. When somebody comes to the fruition or Maggapala, then they can experience permanent sort of calmness of defilements according to the degree or the level that they have spiritually achieved. That is Patisaddhipaha. And when somebody is fully awakened or attain Nibbana, attainment of Nibbana, fully annihilation of all defilements, having nothing left, that is Nissarana Paha. Likewise, when somebody comes to practicing this spiritual path, he has to make some effort to control or mitigate or overcome fetters of defilements or evils and sampajana. So the person is involved in practicing this process, having proper understanding. Sampajana. And Satima, being mindful or alert. Vinaya. Vinaya, become disciplined. So becoming disciplined can be done in 5 ways. They are identified to be Sangvara Vinaya. There are 5 ways of Sangvara Vinaya. Sila Sangvara. Initially, one can start the spiritual life by developing sort of moral and ethical life. It can be disciplined morally or ethically by practicing Sila Patipada. That is the initial stage. Thereafter, Sati Sangvara. By getting involved in practicing meditation or developing mindfulness, somebody can be disciplined. Stay disciplined by being mindful. So if when somebody develops sort of mindfulness on the path, by that particular practice, one can control certain kind of defilements. And Jnana Sangvara. Attamanya, Dhammamanya, likewise, we can develop, we can be developed with sound knowledge of Dhamma. Dhamma is the reality of life and the universe. So likewise, if Jnana Sangvara, according to Jnana Sangvara, we can do away or be away from defilements using intellect and wisdom or understanding of Dhamma or reality of life. Dhamma means true, the true nature of existence. So when somebody can understand correctly about the existence and related life, that is also, that means we have to turn our intellect or intelligence into wisdom by properly understanding one's own life. That understanding also helps us to control and mitigate the defilements into certain level. Then Kanti Sangvara, be disciplined by being patient. Sometimes we have to be very patient. We have no room to be impatient. And Virya Sangvara, be disciplined by effort, making big effort to do away and be away from worldly attachments. And Vinaya Loke, here Loke means the life, the entity to be taken as life, or five aggregates. Loke, Vinaya Loke, the entity of life, control worldly sensual conduct. We have to be disciplined in sensual conduct. Discipline in own life using mindfulness. And Abhijja Domanassa. Abhijja දැඩි ලෝභය ජීවිත ආසාව දෝමනස්සං ඒකට ඇති වෙන බාධකත් එක්ක ඇති වෙන ගැටුම්කාරී මනස. Abhijja Domanassa, getting attached to plant, getting attached or plant. Abhijja. Abhijja means craving for existence. Attachment to life. Covetousness or greediness and grief. Abhijja Domanassa. So we have to control those deeply rooted evils as well when practicing. Because if somebody intends to practice Satipatthana, he should have profound knowledge of Dhamma. So that person actually must be a bit more advanced compared to other persons. Otherwise, he may not be able to understand, because the whole life is very vividly and deeply explained in this particular discourse. Vedanasu Vedananupassye vihati. Atapi. And Atapi means ardent, having great effort, enthusiastic, or passionate to suppress fermentation of evils. Atapi. Vedananupassye viharati. Sensations are observed. Through bodily activities, different sensations or feelings arise, and those feelings and sensations are observed at the same time that they arise. Being into mindfulness is developed being enthusiastic or passionate to suppress fermentation of evils, because the individual is thoroughly aware that he is engaged in this particular exercise to annihilate evils, defilements. Sampajana, with sound understanding. Sampajano with sound understanding, Satima being very mindful and alert. Vinaya, be disciplined, Loke, in his life. Abhijja Domanassa. Chitte Chittanupassye viharati. Atapi Sampajano Satima Vinaya Loke. And mind is observed there. Different minds or consciousnesses arise in this particular process. Those minds are identified as they arise. Vinaya Loke Abhijja Domanassa Dhammesu Dhammanupassye viharati. Those minds get sort of content. So Dhamma is the content of mind. So one mind arises, thereafter it bears the different colors. It bears particular content that is identified to be Dhamma, content of mind. So even though this we talk about 4 frames of mindfulness using different terms, this is a single process. Thereafter, we can see 4 frames of mindfulness. The ongoing process of life is indicated as those 4 frames. So we have to understand that Satipatthana, or 4 frames of mindfulness, is nothing but the life itself. The function of the life is identified accordingly. Though it is on in 4 folds, it's a single process of the life ongoing. Here the spiritual practitioner is advised to be alert and vigilant on the live life process by way of developing mindfulness or establishing mindfulness according to the instructions of this particular discourse. What has to do is to be vigilant, to be alert on the live life process as it goes on, suppressing the disturbing defilements and worldly emotions. The practitioner is supposed to stay contemplating or being attentive on. The practitioner is expected or supposed to stay contemplating or being attentive on ongoing bodily activities. Different kinds of bodily activities. Now we can see sometimes when we are seated, we think that nothing happens in our body. But when it comes to our physical body, it is just like a factory. A lot of different kinds of activities being processed in life. So one has to be vigilant. Not to surface lustful emotions on worldly matters. In day-to-day life, we do not concentrate on bodily activities. Now different kinds of activities are going on in related to our physique or body. But in day-to-day life, in general life, we are not sensitive to those type of bodily activities. But when one gets engaged in practicing this meditation, Satipatthana meditation, he has to initiate concentrating on bodily activities, concentrating on ongoing bodily activities. But here we do have to be vigilant of bodily activities. Kaya anupassi. Anupassi. Kaya activities. Anupassi, being vigilant when they are occurring. Thereafter, the practitioner is advised to be contemplative or firmly attentive on the sensations or feelings which derive from those bodily activities. When bodily activities are going on, when bodily activities are in progress, they generate different kinds of feelings. In that particular process, we can there are feelings come out of those bodily activities. They are identified to be Vedana, Kaya Vedana. Kaya is bodily activities. Different kinds of activities are going on in related to the physique, what we call body. And those activities derive different sensations and feelings, Vedana. Thereafter, the spiritual performer has to be vigilant on the consciousnesses or minds which arise based on those feelings. Ittanupassi. Those feelings generate or possess different consciousnesses. And then the content of those consciousnesses or minds bear Dhammanupassi. The content that consciousnesses bear identified to be Dhammanupassi. We identify the content or Dhamma of mind as wholesome or unwholesome. The content of mind can be either wholesome or unwholesome. These four subtleties happen in a plank of time, in a very little time, in a tiny flash of time, though it is mentioned in a few sentences. Kaya, Vedana, Chitta, Dhamma. Bodily activities are there. Bodily activities are ongoing. Kaya, those activities generate different sensations, Vedana, and those sensations in that contact process, sensations generate. Those sensations cause for developing consciousnesses or minds, and those minds, when a particular mind arises, it definitely bears a certain phenomena. It takes sort of content into it. That is Dhamma. Briefly telling, here the practitioner is advised to be sensitive and alert to the ongoing life process at the very moment that they occur. Surface or image. By practicing Satipatthana, what we are doing is be vigilant or alert to one's own life process. The individual uses his own life to see the very life at the very moment it occurs. So, when this particular mindfulness of Satipatthana is highly developed, his mind is fully collected. The entity which is taken to be life is the composition of 5 aggregates which are in progress, undergoing constant changes. The entity which is taken to be life is the collection or composition of 5 aggregates which are in progress, undergoing constant changes. That function of physical life process, the function of psychophysical life process, its organs, sense faculties, different postures and related activities are vigilantly observed as they process through 14 bodily activities as indicated in the first phase of this particular discourse. There are 14 bodily activities are indicated so that we can understand the psychophysical life process. Sampajana is elaborated in canonical commentary, in Pali commentaries, further analyze Sampajana according to the individual's understanding. Sarthaka Sampajana, purpose. Pajanati, knowing, Sampajanati, properly knowing. That means one comes to this particular practice with sound understanding, good knowledge. So that understanding is categorically described in commentaries using 4 areas, 4 terms. Sarthaka Sampajanya, the first one. The person properly understands of abstaining from actions irrelevant to the path. When he starts practicing this particular exercise of developing mindfulness, again he doesn't get involved in different types of worldly activities. He doesn't give priority to that. He wants to make this process success. Must only get involved in things that helps to end suffering. He does nothing other than that. And being well aware of the purpose of the course or the exercise involved. Because you know that if somebody is not properly aware of the exercise that is involved, keeping it somewhere or letting it behind, he might get involved in some other worldly activity. But here, Sampajana, he has pure and proper understanding about the course that he is involved in practicing. And suitability, Sappaya Sampajana, is being well aware of the appropriateness of the course or exercise involved. He doesn't get involved unsuitable kind of activities. He does following suitable activities in a careful or cautious manner, only support you to tread the path. He doesn't get involved in doing or practicing unnecessary kind of activities which are not directly suitable for treading the path. Domain, Gochara Sampajanya, properly understand of keeping sensory limitations steady with mindfulness. Must not consume unnecessary mental objects. He never gets involved in consuming worldly matters as objects, as mental objects. Being well aware of the area of the course or the exercise involved. Gochara Sampajanya. And Asammoha Sampajanya, non-illusion. Properly understand to adhere to the true nature of reality. Being well aware of the reality of the life and of the course or exercise involved. Kayanupassana. Looking or being aware of bodily activities as they occur. Anapanapabdam. Here, from here onwards, the individual is guided how he can develop the 4 frames of mindfulness based on bodily activities. Kayanupassana. Initiative that is initiated by practicing Anapanasati meditation. Katamanchapana Bhikkave Bhikkhu Kayanupassi Virati. Here, how one can live observing bodily activities. Ida Bhikkave Bhikkhu Aranyagatuva Rukkagulagatuva Sunyagaragatuva Nisidati Pallankang Abhiditva. There are 3 terms, Aranyagatuva, Rukkagulagatuva, Sunyagaragatuva. I will explain those 3 terms in detail. Nisidati pallankang abhijitva. When it comes to different meditations, of course, a particular posture is not prescribed. But when it comes to Anapanasati, a pallankang abhijitva, the person is advised to be seated with cross legs. So that is actually the initial point. One has to stop physically as well as mentally. So this is the stopping place. Nisidati pallankang abhijitva. Here the Buddha asked to stop. As a starting point, this is prescribed. Ujung panidaya. Somebody has to straight and strengthen the spiritual exercise that he has initiated. Ujung panidaya. The activity must be straightened. The individual must not be vacillating, must not be on the fence. He has to firmly determine that he is engaged in a particular spiritual exercise. Ujung panidaya, straightening, that means physically when somebody is going to meditate with seated with cross legs and on, usually he has to keep his back straight. That is there. But Ujung panidaya means generally the philosophical meaning is he has to strengthen and straighten. Keep the activity erected. He has to adhere to this particular spiritual process very firm. Ujung panidaya. Karana vede riju karatagam karanda Parimukan sating upattapetta, having alertness or vigilance as the object or nimitta. Parimukan sating upattapetta, here the object is the mindfulness or alertness. Sati is the object. It is just like a light. And stay being aware of the breathing process. Having a mindfulness taken to be the object, the individual has to be aware of the process of breathing. Having mindfulness alert towards the action of overcoming suffering. So sato assa sati. The individual sato, being alert with mindfulness or mindfully with alertness, assa sati, he is breathing in. He is inhaling. Breathing in or inhaling is not. Alertness is on. Alertness is on the process of breathing. And this knowing is consciousness, mind. Sato passa sati. Again, the individual is breathing out. being mindful, he is breathing out. When he develops this breathing meditation into a certain level, being mindful, then he understands Digang va asasanto Digang asasami pajana. You know that as an example, if you are seated on the beach looking at the horizon, when you keep on looking at the horizon, after a little time you can see a lot of waves on the sea. When you just keep on looking on the horizon, being seated on the beach, you can see some waves are long, some waves are short, and some waves are in between. You are just looking at the horizon. But when you keep on looking, when you continue looking at the horizon, being seated on the beach, after a little time, you can see that there are long waves and there are short waves and there are middle type waves. Likewise, when you continue meditation, when you come to a particular level of concentration, you yourself can start seeing the nature of your breath. Digang va asasantu digang asasami pajana. When the individual is breathing, when the individual is taking a long breath, he properly understands that it is a long breath. Digang va pasanto digang pasasami pajana. When he taking out a long breath, thereby he understands it to be a long one. Rasang va asasanto rasang asasami pajanati. When he is breathing short, or when he has slow breathings, he understands they are to be slow or short. So this is the second stage when developing mindfulness on the process of breathing. And rasam pajanati. So pajanati is thoroughly aware, well aware of that particular process and being alert. Sabbakaya patisangvedi. And in this mindfulness, he is also aware of bodily activities. He is, while being mindful, he is thoroughly aware of ongoing bodily activities. Now, different kinds of activities are that we cannot say that our body is just like a stone or rock and nothing happens inside. But there are a lot of process going on inside as well as outside. Breathing is one particular process. So bodily activities, there are 14 activities are indicated in this particular section of Kayanupassana to observe bodily activities. Initiative is taken from breathing meditation or Anapanasati. All bodily activities and sensations derived from them are known. Now, the other time, of course, when we are involved in different kinds of activities without meditating, we are not aware about the ongoing bodily activities. But now we are little by little, we are focusing on our own life, starting from bodily activities. And the activities become evident, which were not known earlier. And that knowing continues when activities occur. Related to incidents become evident. The sensation derived from the activities is being known. Asasissa miti sikkati sabbakaya patisangvedi pasasissa miti sikkati passam bhayam. Passam bhayam. Passang passa ubhayam. Passa ubhayam. Now, when mindfulness is developing in this process of observing bodily activities, the individual come to sort of understanding of the duality of actions. Passa, seen, ubhayam, duality. So now we are going to release from this duality. Now we are entangled into the process of existence as we are simply get involved in this duality, good and bad. We do different kinds of positive activities and negative activities, wholesome activities, unwholesome activities, maybe mentally or physically, whatever. Two types of activities are involved. As long as we are involved in those two types of activities or duality, we are connected, we are entangled in the process of existence of becoming and re-becoming. Now, because now the person who starts practicing mindfulness come to this particular exercise having good understanding of Dhamma. So now he practically develop his mind into a particular serene state. That serenity of mind teaches him a lot of things about his life, about his own life. Mind generates two types of actions causing existence, good and bad. Duality arises due to these activities and their feelings. The existence continues due to the engagement in this process. From these activities, these types of minds occur. Now the individual, when developing contemplation, being very mindful, he now understands, if I develop these kind of minds and put them into these type of positive actions or wholesome activities, they generate fuel for existence. If I put these type of mentality into action, they are unwholesome and negative. They too add fuel to the existence. So this is the process of duality, and individual is involved. With the development of mindfulness, now we can understand, if I continue or if I keep my mind like this, I develop existence. I get engaged in existence. And now he can understand how he is entangled in the existence. He sees that passam bhaya, kaya sankara. That means bodily activities are in two types. Here we cannot say that mind is not involved there. Mind is also there. When it comes to bodily activities, we cannot the body doesn't become active without having any support of mind. So we have to understand what is powered to bodily activities. Kaya sankara, bodily activities and mental formations cause the existence of duality. Punya papa. We do these two things. So if we do these things, this kind of life happens in different spheres, in different realms of existence. Now he thinks how I can maintain my present mentality so that it doesn't create existence. Now, during this course of meditation, he keeps his mind unattached. Because his mind is focused on mindfulness itself. Nothing developed so that nothing developed just to help existence here. If the meditation is properly done, while practicing, nothing happens in supportive of existence. So now the practitioner, the spiritual performer understands how he can maintain his mentality detached from the worldly phenomena. And Aranyagatuva, just like one, actually Aranyagatuva, here we are not advised to go to a forest or a jungle. Here certain way of a life pattern indicated. We have to be vigilant, just like we enter a very dangerous forest. Aranya Gatuva, Kale Barapat Bhayanaka Kalekata Gyansi. Just like one enters an unknown, unsafe forest, which is full of dangers and threats. Right there, the individual has to be very alert and vigilant to save his life, because the forest is full of threats and dangers to life. He has to stay very mindful of possible danger at any time. He can't keep standing freely. He can't walk freely. He can't sleep. The individual can be attacked or bitten or preyed by ferocious animals, venomous reptiles, or even dangerous insects. The individual cannot adhere to any four postures freely, rather than staying very mindful of possible attacks or dangers. Even walking may danger. Even walking may be dangerous due to unseen pits. Because there can be lawn, there can be grass. The pit can be covered with grass. If you step on the grass thinking that it is grass, maybe it may be a precipice, maybe a very huge pit with a lot of dangers. So he can't walk even. That type of high vigilance or great alertness is needed in this course of spirituality to progress while getting away from the worldly matters. Because evils or defilements or fetters or hindrances are heavily involved in this worldly life. In this worldly life, when we lead our life, wherever it may be, maybe in a temple, wherever it may be, people are there with us. If we live in a particular community, it is just like very dangerous, unknown forest. Because evils or defilements or fetters or hindrances or are heavily involved in this worldly life. It is very difficult to be away from them. Whatever way we live. It needs a very big effort to stay without getting involved in such fermentations of defilements. මේ ආශ්‍රව වලින් කෙලස් ආශ්‍රව වලින් ගැලවිලා ඉන්න තාම සිහියෙන් ලොකු ආයාසයකින් ඉන්නේ. අන්න කැලේට ගියා වගේ. That means we have to adhere to a very vigilant, mindful life pattern. That is indicated from that particular term. Aranyagato va. කැලේකට ගියා බරපතල සත්තු ඉන්න කැලේකට ගියා වගේ. If one makes that effort, අන්න ඒ විදිහට හිතර ලොකු effort එකක් ගත්තොත් become successful in not committing evils. He comes to a peace of mind due to lesser conflicts in life. So if somebody is by practicing alertness, by being highly mindful, if somebody can evade different types of malpractices, evils, without committing bad, if he can be away by developing mindful, then he come to a very harmful type, serene type of life. He comes to a peace of mind. He comes to a peace of mind due to lesser conflicts in life. Due to that development of mindfulness. Life in society can be rather dangerous than it in a forest. So here, the Sila Patipada, that means one hand, by being mindful, initially one can develop Sila Patipada. That is what meant by using that particular term, Aranyagato. When somebody develops that mentality in that course, he comes to Rukka Mula Gatua. Gahak Mulakata Gyawa. Is just like a weary and exhausted traveler. අව්වේ ඇවිදලා වහන්සි වෙලා දැඩි තාඩිය දාගෙන විඩා කර traveler කෙනෙක්. who has been in the scorching sun, coming under cool shade of a huge tree, he feels very comfortable. He feels very comfortable as he was sweating profusely. As he was sweating profusely. He was sweating a lot. His body was heated. Now he come to a very cool shade of a big tree. Now he is relaxed and enjoys the comfort of the cool shade. While being there, he contemplates that this comfort is temporary. So if you develop mindfulness, your mind becomes really calm. Your mind becomes to a dhyana level. Your mind comes to the stage of trance. That dhyana level is just like Rukkamulagatura. Temple. He cannot stay long under the shade. He cannot stay long under the shade. Sometimes if there is a rain, he will get wet. And when the sun is setting in the evening, when the dust the morning dust coming, dangerous reptiles or insects can bite him. So he understand that this is now I feel very comfortable compared to the earlier state. This is very cool place. But this is not permanent. This dhyana level is not permanent. Just like Rukkamulagatura. He cannot stay long under the shade. He sees all sensual gratifications, enjoyments or satisfactions are temporary. He understands these things. Then he turns to his mind, Sunyagara. His Gekhat. So here the practitioner comes to an advanced state and starts contemplating his own life to be an abandoned, dilapidated, ruined house. The house is abandoned for a long time, dilapidated, ruined house. The roof, the walls, the doors and windows are decayed and ruined. He thinks that his own life in this human state is just like that. He cannot stay long in this realm of human existence. He cannot stay in this Sunyagara. It is not a safe place. The human existence is not a safe place. When we think about that in terms of sansaric life. So here he contemplates and reflects his own life, comparing his life to a dilapidated, ruined, abandoned house. The black hair is becoming gray. All the organs are becoming weaker and weaker. So this is dilapidated ruined house, just like a dilapidated ruined house. We can't stay long. He starts vipassana or insight meditation. Here his intelligence turns to wisdom. නුවණ ප්‍රඥාව පැත්තට හැරෙන. සමාධි level එකේ නුවණ ප්‍රඥාව පැත්තට යන. Now he understands his life. The first approach of Kaya Anupassi is to practice mindful breathing. For that purpose, just to reach a vipassana, for that purpose, he need to tame his mind. Developing vipassana is not that easy. So he has to tame his mind. So he can initiate taming his mind by practicing mindfulness on his own breathing. When practicing Anapanasati, one can understand the natural process of the body. The same breathing process is used to develop mindfulness. Kaya Anupassi. Bodily activities. Now breathing is kind of bodily activities. Some say that Kaya Anupassi is looking at the physical body. It is not the real meaning, real sense. Here, the activities. One cannot see either mind or the air. But when mindfully breathing in and out, one can understand the feeling of touching air as it goes in and out, passing through the lower inner rim of the nostrils. In that process, the air touches the inner nostrils when it passing in and out. That contact can be felt. That is how we understand the mind through sensation. When the alert or attentiveness is developing, the practitioner can feel the air touching the inner lower ribs. In this process of contact, in this breathing process, air touches body. In that contact, we can understand the mind. If the contact is known when meditating, if the individual feels that particular contact of air, thereby he becomes capable of knowing his body consciousness. Kaya Vijnana, identify, which arises based on the contact. Now we understand his mind, body consciousness. We know that there are mind Chakku Vijnana, Sota Vijnana, Gana Vijnana, Jiva Vijnana. Likewise, mind is in different forms. Here we understand body consciousness through bodily activities. In this exercise of practicing the mindful breathing, the internal sense faculty, the body, internal sense faculty is the body, external object is air. In that contacting process, the developing mind is body consciousness. If you see your mind, it means if you can feel the contact, your mind is collected. Your mind is focused. Your mind is alert on breathing. If you don't feel the contact, your mind is distracted. Your mind is not collected. Maybe it's wandering elsewhere. The mind is known in bodily activities. The most comprehensive approach to understand the body consciousness. The consciousness is kept standstill in similar stream of consciousness. The consciousness is kept standstill in similar stream of consciousness. Similar type of body consciousness arising and passing away, arising and passing away, arising and passing away. That is observed. The alertness is on that arising minds. Empty means Sunyakara Gatova Hisge. Empty means no value in it. Empty means no value. So, whatever the way we analyze our own life, we cannot find any valuable component in our life. That's why that is compared to an empty house. Sunyagara. Empty means no value in it. We have to dilute that ego. Here we are little by little diluting our own ego. And we can develop wisdom in proportion to we dilute our ego. The life is composed with impermanent elements. So it is empty in essence or value. The essence of life gives only temporal satisfactions. The bodily activity, kaya, of breathing creates subtle sensation. Bodily activity. Breathing is sort of natural bodily activity. It creates subtle sensation, feeling, vedana. Kaya is the bodily activity. Kaya. That is the breathing process. It creates subtle sensation of feeling, vedana. When they are touching, a very subtle sensation comes out. So we have to, if we are mindful, then we can feel it. That sensation emerges a consciousness. Whenever contact is in process, as a result, a consciousness surfaces. Chitta. That consciousness bears knowing. What is knowing? Knowing of the process. That is Dhamma. Now that chitta, that mind bears sort of knowing. Now I am in this kind of process. That type of knowing is there in mind. Mind bears sort of knowledge about the process that the individual is involved at the moment. That is the content of mind, Dhamma. So that is Kaya, Vedana, Chitta, Dhamma is a single process of subtle stages. That consciousness bears knowing, Dhamma, of the process. Here knowing is Dhamma, or the content of mind. The phenomena the mind bears at time. Being alert in this process as it goes on at the very moment is mindfulness or sati. So all the time, if life is in progress, It means Kaya Vedana Chitta Dhamma, that 4 frames are circling. At a very tiny time, these things are circling or rotating, but it's very difficult to notice unless we highly develop the concentration, mindfulness. So we should understand that Satipatthana or 4 foundations of mindfulness is a single process of 4 phenomena. A specific posture is imposed for the Anapanasati or breathing meditation because the posture supports the meditation. The spinal cord needs to be kept erected and the lungs need to be relaxed. The practitioner is supposed to be seated with crossed legs, having the 2 hands on the top of the lap, the right hand on the left hand. This posture is named as lotus or diamond posture. The pigeon posture is allowed for women. However, if one finds it difficult to sit as instructed, can be set up suitably. So that is the prescribed posture, but due to certain illness or disease or a physical difficulty, somebody can go for comfortable posture. That is there, but anyway, if somebody, for a usual person, this posture is better and more advisable. In this method of breathing meditation, breath is not controlled. So here, in when it comes to pranayama, in Hindu yoga practice, they regulate breathing. So it is actually kind of breathing exercise. But when it comes to Buddhist Anapanasati or breathing meditation, here we are not going to regulate or control the process of breathing. Breath is not controlled or regulated purposely. The practitioner just stays being alert to the natural process of breathing. Just let it happen without being judgmental either. Let it happen naturally. And again, we are not going to involve even mentally. Even mentally, we are not giving any color. That is why we say that stay without being judgmental. We just stay being aware. At the beginning, the practitioner, the apprentice or novice monk, loses attentiveness on the breath. If the mind gets distracted without being panicked or confused or frustrated, just bring the alertness back to the breathing. So sometimes more than 2-3 months, what we have to do is to get back the mind to breathing. The mind gets distracted. Again, we have to collect the mind. Again, it goes somewhere else. The mind is straying here and there, wandering here and there. At the initial stage, what we have to do is to all the time get it back, get it back, get it back. There we should not be panicked or confused or frustrated. That is the nature of mind. Sometimes it will take more than 2-3 months. According to many other translations, the practitioner having gone to a forest, many other translations, this is not the idea that we are developing, we are pointing out. This is the translation that we can see in many places. According to many other translations, the practitioner having gone to a forest, to the foot of a tree, or to an empty place where there is no stray noise or disturbances, sits down with his legs crossed, keeps his body erect, having the hands on the left, the right on the left, and his mindfulness still. So this is how usually that idea is translated. But these general things actually in the era of Buddha, many more people, especially the people, Kuru people, they were thoroughly aware about these normal process. I don't think that Buddha should advise when meditating, you should keep your body straight, better to have cross legs. These things were really generalized in that society, in that context. So all the time, there were many more teachings about this type. But Buddha told something quite philosophical and advanced, where we can reach, where we can deeply reach to the reality of life. So we have to understand, without simply translating word by word, we have to understand this process according to the deeper meaning of the Dhamma. The spiritual performer here mindfully breathes in and breathes out. When continuing, as his awareness becomes steady, he notices that some breaths are long and some breaths are short and some breaths are in between. It becomes evident at a particular stage due to the development of mindfulness into a certain level. Sayatapi bhikkave dakku bamakaru va bamakarante vasiva digam va anjanto digam anjamiti pajanati rassang va anjanto rassang anjamiti pajanati Evameva ko bhikkave bhikkhu digam va passanto digam passasamiti pajanati digam va passasanto digam passasamiti pajanati rassang va asasanto rassang asasamiti pajanati Sabbakaya patisangvedi asa sissamiti sikkati sabbakaya patisangvedi passa sissamiti sikkati sabba passambaya kaya sankara sees the duality of activities. Asasissamiti sikkati, passambayam kaya sankaram pasasissamiti. Just like a skillful carpenter and his apprentice, while making a long turn, properly understand, I'm making a long turn. And while making a short turn, he understand very well that I'm making a short turn. The carpenter is aware that he is having a long turn, he is having a short turn, and he is having a little one in between long and short. Likewise, he is thoroughly aware when mindfully doing that action of carpentry. Likewise, the practitioner, when breathing in a deep breath, understand well that I am breathing in a deep breath. When breathing in a shallow breath, understands well that I am breathing in a shallow breath. When breathing out a deep breath, he understands well that I am breathing out a deep breath. Breathing out a shallow breath, he understands well that I am breathing out a shallow breath. Accordingly, he disciplines himself. Yeah, actually, that now he is not going to purposely have long breaths, short breaths, and all. So when somebody develops practicing Anapanasati, when he comes to a particular stage, he naturally sees the natural rhythm and type of his breathing process. So that is that becomes really evident. So this is not something that purposely done or anything. Feeling the whole bodily activities, I shall breathe in. So while breathing, he is being very mindful to the process of breathing, and again, he is be aware the ongoing bodily activities. Sabbakaya Patisangvedi, I shall breathe out. Thus he disciplines himself because he understands the duality. He understands how his mind develops life. How he now when he just looking at when he practicing mindfulness as a result of becoming highly mindful, he can understand the real nature of his mind, how it develops life, worldly life, in two different ways, by doing wholesome and unwholesome. Now he is very careful without getting into duality, because he maintained only awareness when he develops mindfulness. He is not performing any activity belong to duality, so that he develop life, worldly life, related to existence. Here he is released in developing existence for temporary period, or for a little time. In the early ages, sawing timber was laboriously done with the handsaw. For the purpose, they improvised strong 2 pairs of cross legs, tied each pair in an X shape, and the log which is for sawing was kept crossed on. When the senior carpenter, who is on the top, drags the saw along, the apprentice, who is underneath, who understands that the saw is being dragged along. This simile is compared to the process of breathing. When the spiritual practitioner notices a long breath, he understands it to be a long one. When the breath is short, even that is understood. When the breath is neither long nor short, even it is understood to be a breath in between. This is noticed when mindfulness develops at a particular stage. It is not something done artificially or unnaturally. In day-to-day life, we do not notice anything of that sort, as we do not usually be mindful on our breathing. Sabbakaya Patisangvedi Pasasissamiti Sikha. Passambayankaya Sankara says the duality of formation of bodily activities, rising and passing away. Now we can understand breathing. In that particular process, being very mindful, he can understand mentalities arising and passing away, consciousnesses arising and passing away, feelings arising and passing away. And again, the physical Dhamma, content of mind, come into mind and passing away. Now we understand this is the nature of existence. Even when it comes to physical kind of tiny particles, he can understand, he can imagine arising and passing away. He can understand this is life is some kind of ongoing process on live psychophysical process happening all the time, arising and passing away. Now he notices that impermanence in this process of concentrating or being mindful. The individual becomes very sensitive to all the bodily activities that naturally happens, which are usually not sensed. That sensitivity too continues along with contemplation. Breathing accordingly continues, being aware of the activities in process of the body. As he is very mindful of his own physique, now he understands how it works and processes. He vividly notices nature of rising and passing away of physically related phenomena. He repeatedly understands their reoccurrence as well. Being aware of the functioning of bodily activities remains the same even here, and alertness too continues. At this stage, he gets a knowledge of living life without being attacked. He is not interested in clinging on impermanence phenomena of life process. He uses the life process to further develop understanding of its true nature by developing mindfulness. Here, the individual understands where sorrow and lamentation occur and arise. If the life is used in this way, one can overcome them. Here, the practitioner understands how a consciousness arises, how sorrow and lamentation occur in life. I think now we should stop here because it's a very long sutta we have to discuss in a few sessions. Dear Tero, Jinasiri Tero, I think you joined a bit late.